Welcome back once again, guys, to the Prothoughts podcast channel. This time I have brought some questions related to the human resources, the field which you always would reckon with. I sincerely believe this world of project management is all full of people. And I do believe in P4 projects happen because of you have P for people, right? If you don't have P for people, your projects will not happen, isn't it? So, be ready for another exciting episode from Prothoughts on the PMP examination prep. This time the theme is human resources questions. And the first question on your screen here. All the following are the forms of power derived from the project manager's position except 1. Formal, 2. Reward, 3. Penalty, 4. Expert. I'll repeat once again. 1. Formal, 2. Reward, 3. Penalty, 4. Expert. What are you thinking? Isn't that an easy question? I'm sure all of you would have prepared this one. In case not, let me help you with this. It's asking project manager's position. And the question is the forms of power derived from project manager's position except. So that's a negative question. The project manager have always the power to reward somebody or punish somebody. Straightforward from the framework that you would have read from Beta. So your formal power, absolutely yes. Reward power, of course yes. Penalty power, of course yes. So what's left? You have 3 right choices, 1 eliminated here. This time you went different way. Generally what we do elimination approach, but this time it's quite clear that these 3 different options are correct one. So obviously the expert. Now let me decipher a bit here. Expert power. The project manager doesn't have an expert power. It's not a position based. He has to earn it. He has to earn that power to become expert. Right? Hope that's going good. Let's go to second one. And here is the one. The most common causes of conflict on a project are 1. The schedules, 2. The project priorities, and 3. Look at this. This is like a fill in the blanks kind of a question. And 3. 4 options. A. Personalities. B. Resources. 3. Cost. And 4th, management. My dear friends, if you have read it properly from your Rita, you would have seen that by definition a statement says the most common causes of a conflict are 4 causes primarily. They say schedules, project priorities, resources, and 4th is technical opinions. Did you read this? If you've read, it's so clear. So here you have option A, personalities. Personality doesn't have to do anything with the conflict for sure, right? So we will eliminate just reading it. That's it. 2, resources. Of course, resources are the otherwise also. Even if you have not read this, otherwise as well, resources are the common causes of the conflict. No doubt. You would have seen in practice. 3, cost. May not be directly. Even if you're thinking that cost can be a conflict, may not be directly. 4th, management. Management may not be as well, right? So I think the most important option here are the B, resources. So we look for B, resources, and that's the right answer. Let's go to question 3. A big question coming up on your screen here. And you will get such kind of a long questions in exam. Be ready for this kind of questions because Generally, in my experience, what I felt, the bigger the question on your entire one screen in your exam, shorter would be the options. Let's go. Two stakeholders are disagreeing via a series of emails as to whether a deliverable meets the acceptance criteria. Hear me carefully. One of the stakeholders wanted different criteria. So obviously you could find a conflict there. But the cost benefit analysis done in the planning did not support delivering that level of performance. The stakeholders agreed that the higher level of performance was not required and was not cost effective. A team member has just informed you that a problem with her work has occurred. The deliverable she's working on must be shipped today, or there would be project breach. One of the stakeholders, having an email disagreement, comes to you and complain about the other. You say, I cannot deal with this issue right now. Which of the following techniques are you using? 1. Problem solving. 2. Forcing. 3. Withdrawal. 4. Compromising. Friends, a long question. You need a patience to answer this question. You need to reflect back probably twice and thrice. The most important part, how to answer this question, the strategy is simple enough. We spoke in earlier sessions as well. 1. Look out for the keywords. 2. Look with your eyes, open eyes, through the context of the question. And 3. Look at the important statement, especially the last one in the question statement, which is been probably the answer to. Let's see. Did you notice one thing? I see one specific statement here. I cannot deal with this issue right now. Look at the word called right now. Keep this in your mind. Now let's look at the options. All the 4 options you would have read in Rita. Definitely the options for conflict resolution, correct? Now let's look at the first option. Problem solving. If I was you, I would have selected by default this option, because you know that problem solving is the best option, come what may, in most of the situations rather. Hey guys, hold on. Not certainly true always. 80% of the time, yes, but then it does depend on situation too, right? Depends on what kind of a conflict, what level of conflict have you solved so far, and still in progress, right? So problem solving may not be the right answer always. Hang on. Problem solving cannot be eliminated for sure. Any of the situation. So keep it aside. Second, forcing. Definitely you're not forcing. This is not something you're forcing, completely out of context. So remove it. Eliminate that. Withdrawal. You're trying to withdraw from the situation? Possibly, yes. That's what I could probably think through in the situation, looking at it. Or keep it aside. Park it. And the last one, compromising. This is the option which is eliminated. You are not compromising at all. You are just trying to grapple or deal with the situation somewhere without having a lose-lose, which is called compromising, right? You are not doing that. So let's freeze on the 2 options, problem solving and withdrawal. Now, very interesting choice, right? Let's see which is the winner choice here. Let's read the context of the question. The gist of the whole question is there are 2 stakeholders who are in a disagreement, right? one of the stakeholder is not in a favor of a cost benefit analysis because that probably don't justify the cost, right? And probably the performance is directly impacted to whatever cost benefit analysis you decide. So you've done the decision, you have agreed upon, right? And one of the team members had got some kind of a failure. And I'm presuming, though the question doesn't say, I'm presuming that failure would be related to the performance itself. That's an indirect implication, isn't it? And that means probably the decision of cost benefit analysis was wrong, right? Were you in a problem solving mode irrespective of this? I don't think so. Why? Look at the last statement. I cannot deal with this issue right now. What are you thinking about it? You are not trying to solve the problem, isn't it? What you're trying to do? You're trying to push it back. You're trying to hold for a while. Or you don't have a time. That means all those three things are the synonyms to what? Withdrawal. Was it made simple? This is how you approach the questions, the long questions. Don't get hesitated, just be focused, and I'm sure you are. Here, instead of having 15 minutes for a question and 45 minutes to decide an option, it's the reverse way. Options are simpler, in fact. Question is longer. You focus on the right statements in the entire question. By default, you will get your option even without looking at it at times when you are thoroughly prepared and when you have given enough amount of Prothoughts mock tests, right? I will now never, by the way, suggest more than 4 or 5 till the time you are confident enough, right? Don't overdo. That probably could be a failure, by the way. Be ready for the next challenge, and here you go, the question 4th. The project you are managing is following the lean approach, LEAN, to develop the software for automated loading of vehicles. Interesting. Which effort should you ask the team to prioritize for this project? Understand the question. It's asking which effort should you ask the team to prioritize? Interesting question. Though that's it. Only 1.5 liner. Let's see what kind of a challenging options you have here. A. Use emotional intelligence to elicit stakeholder requirements. Beautiful option, isn't it? Park it aside. B. Research innovative new features. Let's see C1. Shorten the time it takes to deploy a new feature after it's identified. Not too bad. And D. Develop prototypes of new features for technical review. What do you think, guys? Question is not difficult actually, but the options are very challenging because you know what? If you're like me, I would have thought, oh, all the 4 options are similar. Then the challenge is which one do better job of answering the context of the question. And let's see in detail now. First option, use emotional intelligence to elicit stakeholder requirement. What is question is, what's question asking? First pointer given or keyword is lean. What do you mean by lean? Lean says eliminate the waste, right? Or minimize the waste. And that could be your time, that could be resources, that could be handbags, or whatever it is. Now, the most important crux that lean identified that I'm sure you would have prepared for was the lean directly relates to cutting across the waste. If time is the waster, Over here, resources could be the waste here. One of the most two aspects of the lean approach in practice that I have seen. First option, emotional intelligence, doesn't ring the bell to the lean approach. Emotional intelligence is a completely a different ball game, talking about stepping into your shoes and thinking how you are thinking. If you're having a fever, I'm stepping into your shoes, I'm wearing your fever as 104 and thinking about, oh, I'm feeling so hot. Right? That's not the context. Context is saying the lean approach and the development of the software. So we will eliminate the first option for now. Second, research innovative new features. The context of the question, it says, which effort should you ask the team to prioritize for this project? It's talking about following the lean approach to do a software development of this loading of the vehicles. Research innovative features. You are actually going to spend a time on developing the new features. And it's nothing related to the prioritization, isn't it? So I will eliminate this option too. Third, shorten the time it takes to deploy a new feature after it's identified. Okay, a good option, I'll park for a while. And fourth is develop prototypes of a new feature for technical review. Development of a prototype is done for what? Prototype is primarily done for identifying the features, isn't it? Whatever through a prototype, I will do the requirements elicitation of the stakeholders. So it's something related to the requirements which is not yet frozen. And you're talking about a software development, which means most likely the features have been identified. Then, if that's the case, D is out. Developing a prototype can give you a MVP, minimum viable product, definitely, with a minimal set of requirements or the features which would give you the maximum value to your stakeholders, right? But that's not the aspect here. Aspect here is talking about the approach. So the only option, and which is the very, very, very reasonably correct option, which is option C, shorten the time it takes to deploy a new feature. Yes, that means you are not wasting your time, you're utilizing your time in the most appropriate manner. This is how you're going to think on the question like this, where the statement is simple, but the options are challenging. All the four options you might feel, oh, they are right, but no. Whenever the exam do not ask you choose 2, choose 3, and it's by default choose 1, you might get this kind of a complexities within those options itself. I hope that's going good so far. Let's go to the next one. And here is the one, the PMO. The PMO has asked you to follow the principles of Kaizen. I don't need to even talk about Kaizen. When you hear this particular word, it's going to be continuous improvement, isn't it? Right? The way you and I think alike. Absolutely. The PMO has asked you to follow the principles of Kaizen on your next change-driven project. Once again, change-driven project. In your very first beginning of the reading of your RITA, you would have identified those typical two different types of the life cycle, of the styles of the life cycle of the project, isn't it? One was the plan-driven, second was the change-driven, right? Typically predictive, second was the adaptive, and of course the third one talks about little later, and the hybrid side, which is combination of two. This is change-driven. I'm not even looking at the options. I'm just trying to firm up my understanding, or I'm trying to predict what kind of a right options by reading it in 5 seconds. That's it. If I can answer, nothing like it. So, Let's read the question once again. The PMO has asked you to follow the principles of Kaizen on your next change-driven project. What will this mean in reality? Option A. The product owner will need to submit all substantive scope changes to the PMO for review. Let's crack this. Is it any way looking at a change-driven first, which could have an adaptive life cycle, and principles of Kaizen? Not at all. So the option says submit all substantive scope changes. This is related to integrated and change control. Isn't it related to the scope control? So we will eliminate this. Nothing related to it. Out. Second option. The user story backlog can be reprioritized or updated at any time. Valid point. Yes, I can always reprioritize the backlog at any given point of time, typically with every iteration that I do, right? But not necessarily I can even do on the spot as well at times, right? If the need be. So we will park this option. We will not eliminate this. This could be right one as well. To have a continuous improvement. Agreed. Third, the team is empowered to initiate small incremental improvements to their development process. Very, very close and related to Kaizen, isn't it? And the fourth, it won't mean much in reality since Kaizen is just a principle, not a process or a technique. Guys, I have told you earlier as well, don't go through this kind of option and build up your opinions about this where you have a negative connotation. It's directly pinpointing to something which is no, that cannot be. So be aware of definitely yes, 100% sure or 100% no. You may not have a right answers on this. So it says it won't mean much. Stop there. Put your thoughts. Here itself, you could just build your opinion. Oh, this may not be a right answer. And then look forward, of course. It won't mean much in reality since Kaizen is just a principle, not a process or a technique, which is wrong. Any which ways. So this is eliminated. So options to select, even if you have to select between B and C, where you are talking about reprioritization of a backlog through the consistent changes. But the option, which is C, is much more closer to the context of the definition or so-called synonym of what's been asked called Kaizen, right? Kaizen is always, guys, talk about the continuous, small, incremental improvements in your project development phase. So we go with C option, right? That's how you log in. Okay. And here you go. Question 6. You have just been assigned as a project manager for a large telecommunication project. This one-year project is about halfway done. The project team consists of 5 sellers and 20 of your company's employees. You want to understand who's responsible for doing what on the project. Where do you find this information? Guys, extremely simple question. I'm sure you don't even need to look at the options, right? I'm not going to talk about the options yet. I'm going to probably let you, give you 5 seconds to think through the answer. And I'm sure your answer most of the time is something that I'm looking out for as well. Didn't you think about RAM or RACI? Yeah? You thought about RACI matrix? Absolutely. That's the right answer, any which ways. If you have already built this kind of an answer, then probably let's validate the options very quickly. Look at the first option. Option A itself is a responsibility assignment matrix, which is the full form or a long form of RAM. Isn't it? B, resource histogram. C, bar chart. D, project organization chart. Obviously, all the 3 are eliminated with context of this question. Those who have not probably got this right, let me decipher a bit for them. Responsibility assignment matrix is the matrix which talks about roles and responsibility assignment of the people to the project throughout the life cycle of the project, right? This is the only matrix where you will have both roles as well as responsibility. In a bar chart will just show you the activities and the schedule. That's all, nothing else. The week period or a month period, etc. The project organization chart will show you reporting structure. Will it not show? No, will not show the responsibilities. The resource histogram will just show the availability versus the requirement, will not show the mapping with respect to the assignment. So the right answer is RAM. I hope that was easy one. Let's crack next one. 7th, a project manager must publish a project schedule. Activities, start and end times, and resources are identified. What should the project manager do next? Guys, understand? The next is a keyword here used, right? I'm sure you guessed that. Let's read the question once again. A project manager must publish a schedule. Activities, start and end time, resources are identified. What's the obvious next step? So let's see the options. A. Distribute the project schedule according to the communication management plan. Good option. You cannot eliminate that. So park in a parking lot. B. Confirm the availability of the resources. Interesting option. Again park it. C. Refine the project management plan to reflect more accurate costing information. Guys, understand? Two keywords here on the option itself which are not matching the context of the question. Why? One, refining. Refining is not yet done without probably you getting the schedule approved, right? In practice, though you might be not doing it. And second, costing information not so earlier. And of course that will do a later on. The question is asking what's next. D. Publish a bar chart illustrating a timeline. Well, you may not be able to do that immediately before either doing A or B. So let's pick up those A and B over C and D and see if you get a right choice between the two. A says distribute, that means you communicate to the stakeholders as per your CMP, communication management plan. And B says confirm the resources. If I was you, I would select B over A first. A is not wrong at all. A is correct option, but B happens first and then A happens, right? And then D happens. Look at the sequence, right? I hope you got that. If you're with me still, and if it's still going on good with you, let's go to the next challenge coming up. The next one, the 8th one. And 8th one is very interesting one. Very interesting. I'm sure you face this, like me. During every project team meeting, the project manager asks each team member to describe the work they are doing and then assigns new activities to the team members. Do you do this? If you are doing, probably let's think if you are doing it in the right way or the right thing. Or the right thing in the right way. The length of these meetings has increased because there are many different activities to assign. Could be different work packages as well to review. When you daily stand up as well, look at that. At times your daily stand up will go from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. This could be happening for all the following reasons except, again a negative question, 4 options, look at it. 1, lack of WBS, that's A. B, lack of your RAM, responsibility assignment matrix. C, lack of resource leveling. I hope you know what resource leveling is. And D, lack of team involvement in project planning. How do you select the right option? Let's go back to the question context. The question is asking you, The summarization of the question, rather, in this case, it says that in your team meetings, every time the project manager asks him, hey guys, what are you doing now? And as per the current activities, which schedule the next activities. And probably that's the reason. The time just go on and on and on and on, right? Well, what could be the cause for this? The question asking, this could be happening for all the following reasons except, that means there is one correct answer in this. Remaining 3 can be eliminated. Simple. What could be that one? Let's look at it. This could be happening because of lack of WBS. Yes, possible, because you do not have a proper WBS, so you do not know who is working on what. Right? Did you think like that? No, then you are wrong. WBS is used for your list of your work packages and hence for the activities in your schedule, and the who works on what is in a RAM, and both are significantly important for a project professional to identify what team is working on. So both these options A and B cannot be negated. Let's look at option C and D. Resource labeling. Labeling resource meaning it just talk about putting equal resources over the period of time. That's called labeling, right? Label up the resources to the identical level. Is there any similarity to the question context? I don't think so. The question is asking about the time it takes in a meeting. It's immaterial whether the resources are not labeled or labeled. So I'll eliminate C option. Look at the D. Lack of team involvement in project planning. 100%. Unless you involve your team in doing the activities, how would you know who's the best at doing what? And then probably based on that determine your RAM? Wouldn't be a good approach. So all the 3, A, B and D, are not the reasons this lack or this delay happens. The only reason could be the lack of resource level. That's something which can be completely eliminated right now from the negative context of the situation here. I hope you got my point here. And so the right answer here in this question is C. Okay. Very interesting challenge coming in front of you. It's a difficult question, I must say. You need lot of patience. The question itself is 7 lines, maybe 3/4 of your screen. Let's have patience reading the question. Here you go. The project manager and team are excited about the new project, probably like you. This is the project manager's first assignment as project manager, probably as PMP certified too. And the team feels that they will be able to complete the work that has never been tried before. There are 29 people contributing to the product description, and the team consists of 9 experienced experts in their fields. That means SMEs. Partway through the planning, 3 highly skilled technical team members are disagreeing about the scope of 2 of the deliverables. One is pointing to draft work breakdown structure and saying that 2 additional work packages should be added. And the other one is saying, oh, even this particular work package is not required. This is nothing but a classic contrary. Let's look at the final statement of the question. The third team member agrees to both. How is that possible? How can you agree to one and second different conflicting opinions at the same time? You can't, right? Something interesting. How should the project manager, as you, best deal with this conflict? Whenever you think about this particular keyword called best, that means be ready for all similar options coming in front of you. Let's see the options. So option A. She should listen to the difference of opinion, determine the best choice, and implement that choice. I'll repeat the option. She should listen to the difference of opinion, determine the best option or best choice, and implement it. Not a bad one, though. So you may not want to eliminate that at first go. Park it in a parking lot. B. She should postpone further discussions, meet with each team members, and determine the best approach. Well, possible? Looks okay. Park it. You can't eliminate? No problem. It's okay. Park in a parking lot. C. She should listen to the difference of opinion, encourage logical discussions, and facilitate an agreement. You definitely don't want to eliminate this for sure, because that's a very logical option. Park it. And D. She should help the team focus on points on which they agree and build unity by using relaxation techniques and common focus team building. Guys, I'm not sure if you come across this kind of a preparation in your PMP exam prep, right? This kind of words, relaxation techniques, common focus building team. I don't think so. So for now to have a focused alternatives, have a option D eliminated. Keep it aside. So the options A, B and C, difficult choice, I do understand, but let's crack through it. Do you get confused by the wordiness of each question? If you are, then let me help you. See, all the three options could be right depending on the context, how you thinking about it. Most of the details in these questions are detractors, actually speaking. The problem solving technique and the compromising, these two techniques in the conflict resolution, they are the most important technique, and that's nothing but your interpersonal relation or the skills of managing people. So let's look at the first alternative. She should listen to the difference of opinion, determine the best choice, and implement the choice. Here, look at the hidden meaning of it. It's saying that listen to everybody, but take your own action. Probably I'll stay away for a while. Right? Option B says she should postpone further discussion, meet with each team individual, and determine. Again, the question is related to the team solving the problem, agreeing on the disagreement between the members, and focusing on the team approach here rather than the individual approach. I would not like to postpone it for further discussion. I'll probably try to eliminate this for a while as well. And look at the C. If I do not find anything better in ABC, I'll go with B. For a while I can postpone the discussion. But let's see the C then. She should listen to the differences of opinion, encourage logical discussions, and facilitate an argument. Excellent choice over B as well, and definitely over A. Why? It's prompting a problem-solving attitude of a team, and hence the solution itself by having a logical conclusions through the very interesting conversation between the two members. It could be the constructive conversation between the stakeholders, but at least the team is involved here rather than project manager taking himself a decision or putting the decision back on the team like other options. So I would rather go with C over B. So in A, B, C, the best choice is C. So the right answer here is option C. I hope it's going good for you. Don't, right? Prothoughts is always there with you throughout the life cycle, not only till exam but even after that also, right? We'll always support you. Don't worry about it. So let's go to the next challenge. I'm all here not only to give the challenge but stand for you in your difficult journey through navigating the complexities like this. There you go. Question 10. For your upcoming change-driven project, I don't need to tell you what change-driven project. You are assigned a newly formed development team. The team members haven't worked together before and they don't know each other very well. As their servant leader, what can you do to help them come together as a cohesive unit? I'm sure most of you have come through this kind of a situation. I have as well multiple times. You've been given a new team, you have been a new leader. And this is people do not know you, people do not know even each other also. Newly formed team, understand. You're a servant leader. You come across that first time. First, a leader's job is to influence. Right? That's the whole job of a leader. How would you do it? Let's see the options. Option A. Encourage them to come to you whenever they run into the problem they can't solve. Wait, before even going forward. A negative option, to be honest with you, because it's saying that you are being reactive. You are trying to solve their problem. Don't solve their problem. Let them solve their own problems. Of course, you guide and support them, no doubt about it. You stand by. So the option A says, encourage them to come to you whenever they run into problem. A complete reactive rather than a proactive. Also, you are trying to do a lot of micromanagement, that means. Right? Don't. Option B. So first option eliminated. Option B. Guide them in finding the best way to do the work so that they can get off to a productive start. Not a bad option. It says, guide them in finding the best way so that they can have a productive start. Good option. Park it away in a parking lot. Option C. Share the project vision, then leave them alone to figure out how to achieve these goals. Sharing the project vision is the most important thing for a leader to do, no doubt about it. Showcasing and communicating the vision time and again is the most important role of a leader, no doubt. And typically a servant leader should do this first. And this is what a leader differentiates from other. But look at the second part of leave them alone to figure out to achieve the goals. No, I won't leave them alone. I would rather eliminate this option. How can I leave them alone? Need to stand by. D. Facilitate team-based planning session to help them learn to work together. Not a bad option at all. A good option. So, between option B and D, guide them in finding the best way to do the work, to get off the productive start, and facilitate team-based planning session. Choose between the two now. Which is the best one? Yes, guiding them to do that would for the productive start. It's like a one time you are getting it off. What about the repetitive? What about continuously throughout? Right? That's not being said. In a indirect manner, option D talks about that. Option D says facilitate team-based planning. A team-based planning would always have a kind of a collaboration between the team members. You will support this team throughout to have a proper cohesion between them. Go with option D over B. Okay, so the right answer is D. Let's see the small question, one more rather. Here is up on your screen, question 11. A project is in the middle of executing effort when a stakeholder suggests a change that would result in the third major overhaul of the project. At the same time, the project manager discovered that a large work package was not completed because a team member's manager moved her to the another project with a higher priority. Of the following, who is the best person for the project manager to address these issues with? Understand the question, guys. The question says, execution is going on. There is a change which is being raised by a stakeholder. And at the same time, you're finding one of the deliverables, right? That's not yet complete because that resources manager moved her from one project to another with a high priority. Are these two linked to each other? Let's see the options. Option A, team. Option B, senior management. Option C, the customer. Option C, the sponsor. The context of the question, this kind of a problem, whom would you address it with? With a team? I don't think so. It's not within the control of a team anymore. The manager of a team member of your resource have moved from a different project. Not a team. I'll eliminate the team here. Senior management? Possibly yes. I'll park it for a while. Customer? Absolutely not, right? This is our own problem, not customer's problem. So eliminate it. And the sponsor? Again, could be a right answer. So between B and D, between sponsor and the senior management, who will you select? In your all practical perspective, from all practical perspective, I would always go to the sponsor first and then escalate to senior management. This is the kind of a hierarchy generally. You never know, the sponsor could be part of senior management itself. Again, read the question. It's saying that this particular problem of two different conflicting situations, one, there is a change which will bring up a long, bigger impact, because that is going to be a long change. And second is talking about the resource who's been pulled out. The role of the sponsor is to avoid unwanted changes. I'm sure you would have read in the readout. The role of a sponsor is to avoid the unwanted changes. With this kind of a definition, I will always go with the sponsor and request the sponsor to address this situation first, before even I go to the senior management. You never know, the sponsor could be part of senior management, as I said, right? So I would probably freeze the answer as a sponsor. Just because of a definition of the sponsor, avoid unwanted changes on the project. I hope that's going good. The next challenge for you, question number 12. The installation project has a CPI, cost performance index, of 1.03 and SPI of 1.0. There are 14 team members and each team member had input to the final project management plan. The customer has accepted the 3 deliverables completed so far without any complaint, and the responsibility assignment matrix has not changed since the project began. The project is being completed in a matrix environment and there are no contracts needed for the project. Isn't it wishful situation for you? Isn't it a very idealistic situation that you may feel, oh, this may not occur? You'll never know how lucky you could go on the project like this, right? Let's see the question. Although the sponsor is happy with the status of the project, one of the team member is always complaining about how much time this project is taking. Which of the following is the best thing for project manager to do? Understand the keyword here, best. Let's look at the options quickly. Option 1, review the reward system for the project. Option B, try to improve the schedule performance of the project. Option C, meet the customer to try to extend the schedule. Or option D, gain formal acceptance in writing from the customer. If I was you, I would have eliminated option A looking at it. Reward system for the project, how does it gel well? Doesn't it, right? Our team is complaining about how much time the project is. Project is going good, isn't it? So many factors are really happening well. Team member is complaining, Fine, fair enough. You do a root cause analysis. How does it link to reward? I would have eliminated it. But hang on, guys. If you have eliminated this, then probably you might be wrong until you even read the other options. Option B talks about try to improve schedule performance on the project. Could be a right option. Why? Because your SPI is 1.0, which means you are absolutely on schedule. Do you really need to improve it? I can definitely get a benefit of improvement, make it SPI more than 1. But it's just SPI is 1.0. I don't want to eliminate this for now. Park it for a while. Option C says meet the customer to try to extend the schedule. Required? Not required? No, not required, because if you extend the schedule, your SPI will go lower than 1, isn't it? So the project will be delayed. I don't think a better option. Customer is already accepted, right? Let's look at the D. So C is eliminated. Gain formal acceptance in writing from the customer. Hang on, think about it. Even if you take a writing, how does it relate to the team member complaining about the time taken? It just formalize the acceptance. That's all. As a part of the logical process or a kind of a compliance process. So I can eliminate this. Doesn't relate to, right? Option D eliminated. Option C eliminated. So the right answer could be between option A and B. What do you think? Let's look at option B first. Try to improve the schedule performance of the project. Now what will happen is, even if you try to improve the schedule performance, right, you may end up spending extra cost. Your CPI is just on the border of 1, which is 1.03, right? If you put more resource, that means more cost improving the schedule. Possible if you do crashing. Even if you do fast tracking, could include the risk. The project is going well. You don't want to take a risk in the project, whether with respect to the schedule or the cost. Is it something related to the reward mechanism by any chance? Could be, yes, because the team is complaining. That means your reward system is not effective. The team member has not been rewarded well. Probably there's the only person who's been complaining. Although the project manager and other team members could find the project is going fine. So I would go with option A as the right option. Right? That's how you answer this kind of a so-called complicated scenarios, my friends. I meet you next time, and till the time, enjoy the show. See you next time.